Bing bong. All right, what's good, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Just wanted to jump on the charts, obviously, with you guys. Let me just make sure we're all good right here. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, what's good, everybody? Good morning. Hopefully, everybody's having a great day so far. I know it's only Tuesday, but we will be looking at some charts, see if there's any opportunities, see if there's any trades that we can place. So again, good morning. What's good? What's good? Let me actually just go back, make sure that I am in the chat, so that way I could obviously answer any and all questions, see what you guys got for me. Yo, my guy Rome, what's up, homie? Appreciate you guys being on with me today, this morning on the charts. Obviously, we're just going to do what we do pretty much every day. Go over a bunch of things. Let me actually just make sure. Oh, I messed up there. All right, we're good. But yeah, obviously I want to jump onto the charts with you guys, answer any questions that you guys have, obviously look for any trade opportunities for myself and obviously for legacy students, and really just see what the market is giving us, educate and give value as well. So real quick, if you guys have any questions, any specific markets before I actually begin, feel free to type that out and let me know in the comments. I am taking a look, and I'll be sure to try to assist you in the best way that I possibly can as far as learning how to trade a little bit better, the tools that we use, how to use those tools, and really get to the next level as far as trading is concerned. So If you guys have anything, feel free to let me know. I'm definitely taking a look, definitely paying attention. If not, obviously I'll just go over some things, mark up some charts, and see what we got for the day. Just really try to identify, see if there's any potential trade opportunities. You know, like I personally trade gold. That might have an opportunity coming up. There's a few trades or markets that may have some opportunity. So I really want to see if we can actually play some of those live here, give you the knowledge, and obviously help you understand exactly why we place that trade. But let me see what we have here in the comments. I'm in buys for gold. Okay, well, why are you in buys for gold? Just let me know, in the sense, like, and you can also send me a chart if you will. I'll definitely take a look at that. Just let me know exactly what it is that you need. But buys on gold, I'll definitely take a look at gold here in a second. I kind of wanted to take a look at Bitcoin, actually, because that market alone is very different, right? Let me actually just make sure that we're good here. Okay, yeah, so I'll definitely take a look at gold, obviously gold being one of my main markets that I look at. But Bitcoin right now is doing kind of something that we spoke about. If you've been following the streams for a bit, we've been talking about Bitcoin being more of a sell, right? And I'll actually just go to Bitcoin so we're not just like confused as what I'm speaking on. And this is our analysis. I haven't changed it. This is actually drawn out since it was, like, if I'm correct, from like this standpoint when it was at this little level of resistance. And I was just identifying a potential idea of what I thought Bitcoin was going to be doing on a technical standpoint. And I promise you, Steven, I'll definitely take a look at gold. I promise. But I really think it's important that we speak on Bitcoin to start off with, and then we go into some forex pairs. But again, I had this market really just identified right around here because we were looking at this level of resistance in a sense, and I didn't think that it was going to be broken, and if it did, it would just come back up to my highlighted area with obviously some fib confluence as well. So we can see how the market is pushed down, and I already had this trend line drawn out before the market came to that initial area, the trend line itself. So I'm going to get rid of this fib. I'm just adjusting some things because now we're going to mark this chart up to identify what's potentially going to happen next in the future. So let me just make sure we're good. All right, perfect. Haven't frozen, no questions, perfect. All right, so this is what you would consider called a counter trend line. Let's just do this. So a counter trend line, just a very simple concept, very simple idea of what a counter trend line is. It is a trend line going against the initial trend, right? This is bearish, but this is a bullish trend line. What that usually means is, especially in a corrective market, when you're getting somewhat of higher highs and somewhat of higher lows, meaning like these higher lows and just somewhat of these higher highs. It's not breaking above these highs, not these highs, but in the sense of just this segment of market right here. That alone could be the idea that, well, when we have a break of this counter trend line, we're going to then be able to identify that the market is no longer in that bullish or that, bullish correction. I was just going to say a correction, but we are in this bullish correction. When we have a break below this counter trend line, I think what's going to happen is we're going to start to see an intensive sell right back down to these lows. Pretty much what I've been identifying for a little bit as far as like a strong investment range. And again, I don't personally trade. And if you got, let me actually make sure you guys can hear me because I know my stuff was messed up before. Okay, you guys can hear me. I should have checked that before. Sorry for that. Because yesterday the stream was so messed up, I accidentally messed up the settings on my OBS, but we're good. So what I can see again is the idea that this is being a level of strong support. Let me actually just go into the weekly so it looks a little bit better for you guys. So we can see that this being a strong level of structure down here, this would probably be the best area for us to actually start looking for any type of investments. And that's a big if, especially after seeing the characteristics on the time frame that we're on, the weekly. And I'll actually give you guys this one. I want you guys to always pay attention to your candlestick patterns. We have an evening star candlestick pattern here. So an evening star candle pattern is a reversal pattern. The market is telling you that the market or that buyers are no longer welcome, and the market is most likely going to want to continue to push down. When you have that, especially already in a bearish market, that's not going to be considered a reversal pattern. That's actually going to be considered a continuation pattern because the market is going to continue to be bearish. So I do think that overall Bitcoin, and again, this just started us off with, I do think that Bitcoin is going to start being extremely bearish. And that goes for the majority of all cryptocurrencies such as XRP, Dogecoin. I mean, if we actually take a look at Dogecoin, I think that's been selling for like the longest. Yeah. Like, we did have some type of bullish impact, but as you see, the reaction was just very temporary, and we are pushing back down. Even this, now that I'm on this, that looks like a head and shoulders pattern, right? So I mean, that was a random, I didn't even know that this head and shoulder pattern was here. I haven't looked at Dogecoin here in a bit, but I mean, even now you can see the idea of what this market is giving us. So we are getting the sense of strong bearish markets or strong bearish sentiment for the majority of all cryptos. So if anybody's investing into them, please be very careful. If you're day trading them, obviously like placing buys and sells with MC4, MC5, or whatever platform that you guys personally use, I would look more along the lines of bearish on the majority of all cryptos. So that's just to start us off with. I'll take a look here at gold for my mans real quick. If there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to let me know. If there's any other specific markets you would like to identify, also let me know. Now, we're going to take a look at gold, and we're going to see what we're looking at, because I don't think the buys should be paid attention to. So actually, this is what we were looking at yesterday, and it gave us exactly what we were trying to identify. Who is that? Okay. So let me get rid of a few things. Actually, I'll scale down so I could make sure I'm deleting accurately. Oh, there we go. So, let me get rid of this as well. So as you see here, it says breaks above structure equals a buy. We did not have a break above structure. We have now shown respect of that resistance point, and we're continuing to see respect there. So looking for buys at a level of resistance, probably not your best, buddy. Only because, again, like, you're not, when the market is all the way up here, what happened with Bitcoin, and a lot of people are still burnt from it. Bitcoin did this. People start buying from here. They start doing this. FOMO, fear of missing out, right? They start looking, I'm not talking about a day trade aspect. I'm looking at literally people investing. So it went from down here all the way up here. The last thing anybody's going to do is buy from that point, because now you're at a high point. You're at a level of structure or a level of resistance, clearly here with gold. So what I would be doing is identifying the market as a whole, right? As an entire market. You can't just use one time frame to identify everything. What can we see overall with gold? You have to look left to get right. If you haven't seen it before, Steve, I'm pretty sure you have, because you've been on the majority of the sessions. That level of resistance there is important. It was already respected and rejected. Me being able to see something like that is pretty important, because what's going to end up happening, or happened, is you're going to get that initial sell-off. We have that. Now, there is the idea that buys, excuse me, there is the idea that buys can come back into play. Obviously, because we are breaking above this resistance zone and have retested that point, but it's kind of stuck within its own little range here. So it's hard to really tell in the sense of whether this is going to be a strong buy or a strong sell. But if we scale down to these smaller time frames, you got to manipulate, or use rather, that time frame in your advantage, right? Because what can we see here? We know that buying at a level of resistance is the worst thing to do. Even though this is the higher resistance, this is still current on this time frame, or any time frame that you look at, is still a high point. It's a resistance, a structure point that should not be placed or sought out for potential buy entries until that level of structure is then broken. Again, we want to make sure that this level of structure is not going to hold. How can we determine that, Jay? I don't understand that. Good question. Let me answer that for you. By actually seeing the break of it, right? The market is going to leave clues and tell you what's going to happen, but it has to happen before we can actually get that analysis. I know you probably like, but are we supposed to place a trade before it happens? Yes, absolutely. But we need signals, not in the form of, a trade setup, like, or a, Telegram or Discord signal, like an actual market characteristic and signal that they leave behind all the time. Being that when we have a break above this structure, that's now going to tell us buyers are in control. We don't have a guessing game anymore, because we don't know whether this is going to sell or buy, because we're at a sell range, but no one's taking control of this as of yet. Also, when we see the break above, that's when we're going to see the market direction, the momentum. If that's not the case, and this is respected, we'll see that with candlestick characteristics and obviously any type of patterns that form around this area, but we don't have that currently. Also, quick tip, we're going to have news here in about 10 minutes. So the volatility on gold is not that great as of yet, because no one's going to be trading leading into a red level folder, CPI, if I'm correct, news event. So what can happen, and this is just specifically speaking on gold, what can happen is the news comes out, and that is the catalyst needed for news to actually, or gold itself to gain some volatility and make a move. It is currently buying, but again, especially leading from news at a high range or a resistance point, that's a very risky trade setup, unless obviously you have a strong idea on why you're looking for those buys. But I would just be very careful on that. If you end up in profits, by all means, make your money, homie. But the thing is the risk behind it. The idea of, do we buy at highs? Absolutely not. Do we trade before news? Not so much, unless you're already in trades and in profit. Then you can kind of manipulate things a little bit differently. Take your stop loss, move into profits. If it gets hit, obviously it doesn't affect you. So there are some tricks to the trade that you could do, but I would say in this event, be very careful, because you're buying from a high point. You are also, again, leading into news here in about 9 minutes. We'll obviously be on and see how the news will be affected, or how the market will be affected from that. But yeah, I'd be very careful with that. Be very, very careful with that. I got in around 1924. Oh, then what are you talking about? You good? All right, you good. Cool. You're good. You know what you're doing. Yeah, 1924. If you're in profits, this is the thing. Well, I want everybody to understand is, if you're in profits, you're right. You know what I mean? Like, don't overcomplicate what's already winning for you, right? If you're in buys, you're in buys. Your analysis is obviously considered you correct in that analysis, by all means. Now, what questions do you guys have? That's the thing. I want to make sure I'm helping you guys. If you're already making money, how am I helping you? Oh, yeah, been in since yesterday. Perfect. But what do you need help with? That's my thing. If you're in trades, that's on you. You know what I mean? If you're right, you're right. You're making money, kudos. We all got bills. I get it. But I want to see how I can assist. I want to make sure that I can help everybody. If you guys have questions, any other type of charts that you guys want to take a look at, again, feel free to let me know, and I'm definitely going to assist. But if you're already making money, homie, you ain't got to look at that. You got your analysis done, you good. If you're making money, you solid. Sell, kill zone. We did not place that trade, so this is why this is actually a really good example of allowing your analysis to come through and not immediately placing a trade until you're getting your solid confirmations. I was looking for sells here. Obviously, that's not the case. No sells were placed, no money was lost or made, so no harm done. I think the majority of what we need to understand is when you mark up a chart, it's not foolproof. It's immediate. Oh, I got that. Once it hits there, I'm going to place a trade and we're good. We're making money. Allow the market to truly develop and show you what it wants to do. Obviously, it didn't give me exactly what I wanted for it to do as it was here, so I completely forgot about the trade setup and just moved on to something different. So, okay. I just want to make sure to answer any and all questions. Let me actually see. All right, perfect. Am I frozen? No, we're good. All right, so let me actually go ahead and see if there's any other type of markets. I mean, obviously there's a bunch, but I want to see if there's anything important that we can actually look at, place trades on. But for some reason, I'll just be really honest with you, the markets have been in this, like, I mean, if we go through, we could look right now, the majority of these markets have just been kind of like stuck in a sense. Not so much the Aussie pairs, because whatever news event that happened with them, they just completely tanked after. But the majority of other markets have just kind of been stagnant and really haven't given you a solid trade setup. And just kind of like go over something real quick, even on this, like CAD CHF, just randomly. You're not getting so much, and let's just go back. The only idea that, because I know everybody's like, oh, that had a strong sell, Jay. You could have definitely traded that sell. You could have if we just understood one small concept, but that's also not, this is also not a market favorable for identifying trade setups. Yeah, you can identify the fact that that's a level of resistance and sell from there. And obviously this being a level of support, and then obviously taking profits or maybe even buying from there. But you're not really getting too much of an idea of what to sell or how to enter this, unless obviously you're doing the most amount of work. You understand exactly what's happening with each pair. There's not enough technical standpoints, if you will. Yes, the candlestick wicks here, the idea of the market kind of giving you the idea of a head and shoulders pattern, but in essence, this is more along the lines of a buyer's market. So placing sells in that would be rather risky. So the market hasn't given us too much of setups. It is developing now, though, in the sense of what it wants to start doing next. Let me get rid of this so that way I don't confuse myself like I did with gold before. It is giving us and developing into a sense of idea, but it wasn't giving us that before. So it was kind of like the markets were stagnant. It wasn't really having that much of an idea or volatility. But like even if I just mark this up right now, I can identify CAD CHF. We'll actually look at this for sell zones. I mean, this is just a random chart that I just randomly came onto, but I mean, a very simple concept. We're going to mark this up to identify entries now. So when I'm trading, I'm not just trading to, look for cool colors and screenshots and posts. And no, like I'm identifying what the market is doing. And then as the market develops, I want to identify where I'm going to enter from. And for me, I'm going to be looking to enter at price points, specific price points. And that's important that you understand that because, excuse me, you can't really just start placing trades out of nowhere, right? In no man's land, if you will. You want to make sure that what you're looking at and identifying is obviously going to be working in your favor, and that's always going to be at specific areas in the market. So if you don't know that, now you do. Let me see. Somebody just asked something. Trend line from the bottom. What you mean? For this? For CAD CHF? Which time frame? What you looking at? Is it CAD CHF that you're looking at? Because I know there's a delay on the stream. Are you looking at something like this? I mean, yeah, that could be very relevant, without a doubt. But it's also, will it get to that point? Because you also have this. I mean, let me just get rid of this so there's no confusion. But I mean, you're at a buy zone. See what I'm saying? So yes, that trend line is very much valid, but you had the break above a previous high, which used to be a level of resistance. If you don't see it, let's actually just do this, get rid of that candle. That was a level of resistance. And since that level of resistance was then broken, we have to identify that as a potential buy zone. And we're already getting the form of respect from there already. Now, I know I'm on the daily. Not a lot of people, I have no idea why you guys don't use the weekly, the daily, none of those time frames. So I want you guys to pay attention to that a little bit more, because once you do, you'll be able to truly understand the true essence of what the market is doing. But I do think, again, this level of structure being broken, the break above that, the idea that we're coming back to pretty much test that area once again. We could have some type of bullish reaction. We currently are getting some type of bullish note already. So I would kind of identify that more along the lines of bullish, just as I'm marking it up and going over. It was a random ass chart that we even jumped onto, but yeah, I mean, cats, and I'm hoping my man's, who is it? Akeem? If I say your name wrong, I apologize, yo. I even fuck up my last name, so I do apologize. But let me actually make sure you guys can hear me. There we go. So, yeah, I do think that if you're talking about that bottom trend line, absolutely. If you're talking about another time frame or something, by all means, feel free to let me know so I can identify what you mean. If you're maybe this, I don't know. I'm not too sure if that's what you mean. It could be that break of that trend line as well. If that's what you're speaking of, that could definitely be a strong idea. And you can have the retest of that as well. So yeah, absolutely. We'll actually leave that. So we'll do sell kill zone. And what we can also do is use a Fibonacci here, because what? Let me get rid of that. We can use a Fibonacci here because we're already getting a correction, being that this is an impulsive move. That's its initial correction. So what I'm going to do now is simply draw my fibs. Draw from here. I'll just draw from here. And that's perfect. We have some fib confluence around that area. So right now, CAD CHF does in fact have a trade setup, and that was a beautiful random market for us to just grace us with its trade setup pretty much. So I will be looking for trade setups there. I'll be looking for sells. It'll look something like this. Let me make sure. Okay. So bing bang. If that's the case, we'll be looking for potential sells from that area. Obviously, I know I said we're in a buy zone, but right now we're basically seeing lower highs, lower lows being created. We are developing into something. This is a really weird looking head and shoulders pattern. So there is potential to the downside on this. So at least if we can get an opportunity there, this will be our first target zones. Excuse me. And then if that's broken, obviously we don't take profits. We'll just hold on and make more money. But right now, CAD CHF does have a potential sell coming up, and hopefully you guys take advantage of that. And for these charts as well, I'll be sure to put these in the in our Discord, so that way you guys can use the analysis, obviously go over, and if that analysis does work in your favor, you're obviously able to place that trade and make your own money. So yeah, hopefully that helps you guys. Again, any questions? If you guys have any questions, any specific markets you would like to take for me to take a look at, feel free to let me know, and I definitely got you guys. Let me just take a quick look back at gold, because we are now at 830. News has just came out for the US dollar. So I don't really think anything's happened. So might go ahead and turn on our EA Auto Trader again, like now probably, because I turned our EA off, our traders, so that way it doesn't get affected by news, because it mainly trades gold. I'm having it trade other pairs as well, just back testing a bunch. But I mean, I didn't maybe I shouldn't have turned off the auto traders because it's not really giving us too much. Obviously, there you go. I was like, you want to let it just chill because I know it's only been literally a few seconds, but I'll let the market kind of like lessen out or kind of like straighten out from the news, because usually after like an hour, maybe even a few hours even after, the market is still affected by whatever the news release was or is rather. So we'll take a look back here on gold to make sure that that does remain a buy for the individual who's currently in a buy. But yeah, questions, comments, anything you guys got, or you guys Gucci? Let me see. And real quick, if you guys can, if you know anybody who can obviously benefit from any education, from any questions that could be answered for them, get them on this call. It's really important that we expand and grow this community through just value, consistency, and profits, man. Like as you see, I'm just giving you guys a lot of knowledge with this. So, and I know for a fact nobody on YouTube does this. This is exactly why I'm doing it. So I want you guys to be able to take this time and take advantage of it, because there's a lot of money that could be made with just you having one question answered, and you'd be like, oh shit, and then next thing you know, you're on the next step to your trading career. So I want you guys to be able to take advantage of this. No questions, no comments, no value. No, I'm just kidding. But let me see real quick. Yeah, I'm really, I mean, maybe some setups, but as far as like, actually USD CAD is probably setting up to be something good, which will probably mean gold is going to continue to buy, or sell rather. So breaks above this point, confirm strong buys. Did we get strong buys? We did. So we're going to actually go ahead and delete this. We're going to delete everything, and we're just going to identify what the market is currently giving us. And now, just to keep you guys, or help you guys understand what I'm talking about, this was a level of structure. I'm just keeping things as simple as possible. ABC 1, 2, 3, right? That's a level of structure. What happened? Broken. So the level of structure is broken. Where are we? A level of structure. This will be the entire zone if we wanted to be perfect, right? Including the highs of these candles over here. We're very much in a buy zone. So right now, I'm not placing any trades. I'm just going to say PRZ, potential reversal zone, or I'll just put buy PRZ rather, so there's no confusion. Right now we are within a buying zone, maybe not, of USD CAD. Now, this is the reason why you don't just immediately, especially with news, obviously, but this is why you don't immediately just go ahead and start placing trades, because what can end up happening is, oh yeah, we're in a buy zone, and then it just continues to sell, especially with whatever the news release currently was for the US dollar. And I do believe we have New Zealand news later as well. So we got to be careful with that. So even though we're in a buy zone, does not mean we're going to immediately start buying this and start looking to, place trades and make profits off of it, by no means. But what I would be doing is allowing this market to develop around this area, and if we could see any type of rejection, we could then go ahead and start looking for some potential buys from this point. So we'll keep this on the radar as well. Let me go ahead and keep this. What was the other one we're looking at? CAD CHF, a random pair. Let me get rid of these. So I'm just marking these up so that way I could pay attention to what's important, which markets I'm looking for trade setups on. Oh, it is gold as well. And then I'll be able to post these in the Discord for you all as well. So let me actually go ahead and draw this trend line just in case for future events. Let me see real quick. Look at gold going up. Let's see what gold's doing. Still within the sell zone. I mean, we just had a lot of news. That's the volatility kicking in. So it seems as if the dollar may have lost some value, that's cool. If we see USD CAD, if it doesn't buy, that's cool. Because we have breaks below, obviously, that buy zone or that trend line, we'll still be able to identify potential entries in the direction of this market. Again, this is why you plan your trade and you trade your plan. You're not just immediately going in, standard lot sizes, and then you blow an account. You know what I mean? You allow the market to truly develop, because right now it does seem as if gold is having a strong buy, but is it? Right? Let this candle close. We have about a half hour less, 25 minutes rather, to actually have this market or candles close. That'll be the true determining factor for a lot of the market direction, because obviously if this is still being respected and hasn't been broken above just yet, the next candle can carry that volatility and give you that confirmation. So I do think that right now, still gold, USD CAD, any US cross pair, being extremely careful with, because you don't want to get caught up in any type of, oh, it's buying and then it immediately starts to sell, because again, you're looking at a high zone. or a high point rather within the market, a structure point. Now it was going up, and now it looks a little bit more bearish, right? Because large wicks to the upside or downside, but in this case, to the upside shows a level of rejection or lack of volatility and momentum to break above this current buy zone. So don't go ahead and start buying yet. If you do, hopefully you end up in profits. All right. So what else you guys got? Any other questions? Any other markets you guys want to take a look at? Feel free to let me know. If not, then we're good, because there's really not much to speak on in the market right now, especially with how the news came out and nothing for the US dollar really got affected. I know it's just CPI, but a red level folder should give you some type of movement. As you see here, like this is what I mean about the market kind of just being stagnant in a sense. Euro USD, at least for this week or a few days rather, completely standstill. I know we did have that great sell-off. That was 2 weeks ago, if I'm correct, something like that. Markets have kind of been in a stagnant little range. We did have a final breakout to the upside here on GJ, but as soon as that breakout happened, and again, you're not going to be, I mean, you can actually, I think GJ did have this initial trend line. Yeah. So this was actually kind of easy to tell because I did have some technical analysis for this initial buy. But that happened at Sunday market open, and you don't necessarily trade Sunday market opens. If you do, be very careful, but you can see that Sunday market open, obviously from the date, but the gap that the market had. On Sundays, you're usually going to get, or always going to get, gaps within the majority of all your markets. So that determining factor would just tell me that there really was no trade setup unless you're hawking the markets at 5 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. You know what I mean? Hopefully you guys don't do that on Easter Sunday. I don't even think the markets definitely won't even close. Or open rather. I just realized that. But yeah, like don't be hawking the markets at 5 trying to get setups. I mean, if you do and you make money, fuck it. But it's just a very risky kind of concept. And even now, I mean, I do think buys all the way with GJ. I mean, it's already shown us. But even right now in this type of market, it's just a very choppy. You don't trade it unless you're trading the zone and or breakout. So what I would think is, I actually just draw that here. I would actually go ahead and start looking for buys on GJ. I would actually start saying that we probably don't have to wait too long for that because the market is already developed around this range. If you can't see what I mean, I'm speaking on these candles, the wicks, right? These wicks are very important on these candles because what that is telling us is that we're getting more along the lines of bearish rejection and more bullish intent. The volatility to the upside is probably still relevant. And actually, we will be using a fib here because it is not affected by the gap. And we are at that 23.6. So what that means is, especially at the 23.6, is more along the lines of a strong, immediate move with little to no regard, like literally like this, right? Strong, impulsive move, because I definitely hit the 38 too, probably even lower, probably the 50 as well. Yeah, the 50. What I was looking at was the idea, I thought this maybe was a 23.6, kind of give you an example of that, but not so much. But even there at the 38.2, still kind of the same reaction. You're going to get that fast, impulsive move. And right now, the 23.6 showing us that this is currently the level of price that is being respected, not just by the fib, but we can determine that with the candlesticks as well. What we can identify is potential buys from this point. Kind of on a roll right now. We're going to get some good trade setups. Oh, buy PRZ. And I don't mean a reversal. I'm just putting PRZ because it's really simple to put. But right now, I mean, I might actually go ahead and start looking for buys here within this candle or the next, to be completely honest. Because if I do, in fact, have respect to the 23.6, we can actually just start doing this as well. I'll get rid of some things so there's no confusion. If I am getting respect around these areas, the first thing I want to do is take advantage of the understanding that I have or know of how these fib ratios work. So we shouldn't be waiting too long here to start looking for buys on GBP, JPY. So depending on how this reacts, let me actually go ahead and do this. Look at our legacy line. I'm really liking the buys on this. So I'm actually going to do this. Oh, I didn't mean to remove the drawings. Once you remove the indicators. This is very risky because I personally would like this to develop a little bit more as well. But I'm going to go ahead and look for some buys. I might actually go ahead and put that out as a signal for legacy students. So people that are currently on, whether you're a legacy student or not, Congratulations, more value, more money, more profits, hopefully, potentially, right? Because nothing within the market is 100%. But this is something that I will be giving students so that way they can obviously make money as well. So you guys are going to benefit from this if this does in fact work in our favor. So I will be looking at buys around this area. Hopefully we do get that idea. I'm not going to place it as of yet. If you would like to, based on the analysis that I've given, also with any analysis that you have to further back this idea, you can feel free to place this trade now, or obviously just use the analysis to start looking for potential entries. So I was just about to say I would like to see it push down a little bit lower. So that's where I would like to enter, more along the lines of that blue that I have there, that blue structure point, because obviously buying at a lower point will be a better risk to reward. So my trade setup, if it can come back down here, I'm probably going to wait for this next candle here to open up soon before I make a decision. But our trade setup is going to be very simple: 30 pip stop loss. If anybody's like, oh, that's a lot, I promise you it's not. For a potential first target of 58, almost 60 pips, and then obviously second take profit being 143. And if that's broken, forget about it. You're not gonna let that go. You're gonna keep holding that for dear life. So I will be looking for buys here. I mean, currently, if you are in buys on it, might be in small profits depending on the broker that you're on. If you're, I actually have now my own broker, has the best spreads in the world. It actually has, for some, if I'm correct, I think we're still working on that, but it should be 0 pip spreads on like indices such as US 30, NAS 100, things like that. So I'll be hopefully trying to get in like that perfect entry to take advantage of that spread advantage, to really make sure that I maximize on the potential profits that could be made on this trade. So I am looking at buys on this, but as of right now, I have not placed anything, but this is what our trade setup would obviously look like. Not so much don't care about the take profit, but I would just really focus on that stop loss, because stop losses, unfortunately, are the most important thing within trading, because it helps you mitigate your risk. You're not going to be losing more money than you should. You don't get married to a trade and start, don't get married in general, please don't. No, but you don't get married to a trade and hope for it to come back and, it's going to reverse and I'll make the money back. It's not a loss. Mitigate your risk. So stop loss here should be the most important thing. Don't worry about the take profit, because obviously if you can hold a trade for as long as you can to make you money, just hold on to it. No need to get out. So this is what my trade setup will look like. I'm not in it yet, but that is a potential idea here with GBP JPY. So if you want to take advantage of that, feel free to do so as well. And again, these charts will be posted into the Discord. If you are not a part of the Discord, the link is in fact in the description below. So that way you guys can be a part and also be updated with any and everything that we currently do. But yeah, questions, comments. What broker you have, Jay? Hit me up after this. I got you. Whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Smoke Signal, Carrier Pigeon, Message in a Bottle, I got you. I'll definitely make sure that I answer any and all questions. But right now, I just want to make sure that we're learning and making money. So questions, comments, anything you guys have, any other markets you want to take a look at? If not, I don't think there's really much else to really speak on, only because, again, with the news I was kind of looming around the US dollar, you can see the volatility in the majority of these markets. Oh, there we go. Now we're getting some volatility. USD CHF. Let's see USD CAD. There you go. This is why you don't just immediately trade. So it does seem as if the majority of these markets are, in fact, losing their value. Gold. We'll see what gold's doing if it breaks above here. But it seems as if the dollar lost its value. USD JPY, USD CHF, NZD USD, buying. Okay, so it does seem as if the dollar lost its initial value. GU, buying, which correlates beautifully, because if GU is going to be buying, GJ may actually be doing the same thing. So it does seem as if the Euro USD buying. So it seems as if the majority of the markets have, or the dollar rather, has lost its steam. Oh my God, I forgot about this trade setup. This is something that I'm personally in. It's crazy because I don't know why TradingView, I don't know if it's just me. I think TradingView hates me. I have 3 different computers. I do a lot of the markups for the sessions on this one, but I do my actual trading on my other laptop. So I have the majority of my markups there, and I try to like replicate it on here because it doesn't get saved. It's like the weirdest thing. So I'm literally marking up the same chart twice or 3 times half the time. But yeah, Euro NZD, which is great actually. I like the correlation. We're getting correlating factors coming back into the markets. And what that means is before the market was just doing its own thing, meaning that when gold was buying, that means that the dollar should be selling, or the dollar should be losing value rather. And they were both buying. It was completely off. And right now we're starting to see a lot more correlation coming back into the market because, as I was saying, Euro NZD is a sell. which means that the New Zealand dollar should be gaining value. And when we looked at NZD USD, the New Zealand dollar is taking over the dollar, or the US dollar rather. So we are getting that correlation coming back. So I do like the way that the markets are shaping up and developing right back into the normal state it was before the C word, not that word, but the germ, right? And then we also have obviously what's going on across the pond with the current status of the war. I don't know if I can say that being on YouTube, but there's a lot of things that I got emailed about. I'm not even a monetized channel, but they be watching, and there's a lot of things you can't say. So right now, those things have taken a huge impact on the markets, huge. So the market wasn't as, I would say, on a technical standpoint, obviously you could use technicals, but it was more along the lines of more geopolitical, economical factors that were taking a huge, taking control of the market, to be completely honest. But now we're getting that sense of normality. So I do want to see how the market shape up here as we continue. But yeah, questions, comments, anything you guys got? Or you guys just listening? You guys Gucci? You guys okay? It's okay to speak. I'm listening. I don't bite. If you guys don't have any questions, I'll be really grateful, again, because I'm just giving you a lot of my time, a lot of my knowledge and value. Obviously, if we go back to GJ or any other of the previous trades that we've placed in the previous sessions, profits as well. So if you guys could just simply leave a like. I'm not asking for nothing less, nothing more, just simply a like. Again, I just want to build this community through transparency, value, obviously any type of profits that we can make during these sessions, and really point you guys in the right direction as far as being a more consistent and profitable trader. So if you guys could just leave a like, I absolutely appreciate it. If not, that's still cool. You got some knowledge, hopefully some profits, and then you guys could obviously continue to come back and at least continue to get more value, knowledge, and profit. So thank you for the ones that did. If not, still thank you. God bless you and your family. But yeah, questions, comments, anything you guys got? Everybody's so silent. This is what's going to happen, because it always happens. No questions now, but I've already seen my Facebook Messenger going off. You guys always have questions either during but don't want to ask here, or after and ask me after. It's so much better if you guys ask me while we're on here, because it's easier to go over. CAD JB. Oh, we did lose this trade. Okay, yeah, that is a trade that we did lose. Transparency, man, you're not going to win every trade. Let's get rid of that and obviously see if there's anything else that we could take a look at, which may, let me actually see what USD CAD is doing. That's what I figured. I was like, it's probably at that trend line real quick. So I want to see how this trend line works out. So no more buy PRZ. This is why you always have multiple ideas of the market, and also patience. Without patience, no profits. But now we're back at another potential area. This is why I'm looking at support. Obviously drew that trend line because that could play a factor. There's going to be multiple ways that you can enter a market, and this is obviously a good example, very good visual of that. And we are getting some type of fib confluence on that trend line as well. Let me actually make sure this trend line is as accurate as possible. I don't have my contacts in, so my bad if you see me squinting. Yeah, I'll just leave it like that, nothing crazy. So that idea is very strong for me in the sense of potential buys working even from here. Obviously, if it's broken, no buys. We obviously just let the market continue to push down lower, and then we identify our confirmed sells, because now a lot of things will show the confirmation that this market is no longer bullish, being the idea that the buy PRZ is no longer a buy PRZ. The fact that this trend line also is being broken as well will be a strong deciding factor if sellers are still taking over now. But right now, might have some buys. Let's correct that, readjust, and make sure that we can identify our potential buys from here. Still same. I'll leave that tallied up for a market that we'll look for, but now we're just going to change our biased. So buy zone. Real simple idea. Now again, we are not buying right now. We are letting the market develop and really show us what it wants to do. Plan your trade, trade your plan. Very important. Subscribe, y'all. What's good, Rome? Salam alaikum. Appreciate you being on. So yeah, real quick, anything you guys have, let me know. I'm definitely taking a look. I'm definitely making sure that I'm answering any and all questions that you guys have, looking at any markets you would like to see as well. Let me actually see what US 30 is doing. Ooh, I actually like this. So we're going to look for potential sells. I mean, this is a very strong idea. There's a head and shoulders pattern. It's right back at the neckline. Can't make this stuff up, people. And I know you guys are probably like, really, that's it? Yes. at least for my style of discipline and trading, I'm not trying to overcomplicate anything. The way that I look at the market is it leaves clues. Use those clues that it always leaves behind to identify your next trade setup. So I do think right now with US 30, we might have some potential sells coming into the market. Now, if you're like, really? Yes, because overall, we already have, again, the pattern that determines direction, reversal. We already had a break of that head and shoulders pattern. If you don't believe me, just watch. Right there. Right, that's a terrible neckline. Let me actually, I drew it backwards to see if I could get it more accurate, but this is literally how it's supposed to be. I was just seeing if I could like match it up perfectly wick to wick, but you can see the break of the neckline, the retest of said neckline, and when we scale down to smaller time frame, you can still see the same exact thing. So if it happened here, and just to go back, if you have the break of your neckline here, of your head and shoulders pattern, a clue that the market is leaving behind, and you can see how when the market reacted off of that trend line in the break, and you see it again, are you not going to take that opportunity, right? Obviously with confirmation, we're not just going to immediately sell it right now, but same thing, break of a neckline on a head and shoulders pattern. You are now within a sell zone. You are still creating lower highs and lower lows. This is a high point. This is a lower high, lower high, lower high, and also a potential lower high forming here with lower lows in the market forming as well. What that's showing us is that sellers are currently taking over. Now, I know with the news that just came out, that's why we're having a bullish reaction. Possibly because, I mean, US 30, and it's also New York Stock Exchange is going to be opening here. So you're going to get a lot of volatility with this. So with US 30, if you guys don't have those understandings of the volatility that comes out, if I'm correct, 9:30 Eastern, and also with current US news, US 30 being the US in general, right, the whole economy, if you will, it's going to have a reaction. So we do see a reaction from there. So again, no immediate trades, but we are looking at this area for potential sells. Now, if that's broken to the upside, then obviously no sells. We'll just be looking to change our bias, and I'll just identify some other structural points because these structural points can also give you potential sells as well. So I'm going to be looking at something like this, and we're going to just mark this up as sell zone and go from there. Now, again, I just want to make sure, questions, comments, concerns, gripes, complaints, if anybody has anything, feel free to let me know. If not, we'll conclude here a little bit. I don't want to take too much of you guys' time, especially because, trust me, before I made the decision to come onto YouTube and start streaming, I've studied a lot of other streamers, and I see the method. It's a great method that they use to obviously, get through the YouTube algorithm, but it's not as valuable and transparent or even profitable for that matter for the viewers, and that's what I'm trying to change up. So my thing is, if there's money to be made on this, we definitely can. But as you see, you don't have to stay on the charts to identify everything all day. Yes, am I on the charts pretty much all day? Of course, I have a business that I run with trading forex and cryptocurrencies and all this craziness. So I personally have to be on the charts for the majority of the time. And also to manage trades, you have to be on the charts as well. But if you don't see anything as far as setups, or you already had an idea, again, no buys on this just yet for anybody who's just coming on thinking that we're in buys on this. We're not. We're just identifying this as a potential idea. If you don't see trade setups, if you don't feel like that's an accurate, analysis towards whatever that you're personally doing, you don't have to trade. You don't have to place it. You don't always have to be in a trade. I think what a lot of people think is when you wake up in the morning, you're on the charts 6-7 hours, you're marking everything up, you're doing this, you're doing that. You're really not. You're literally just identifying, okay, well, it's the market's selling. Where can I sell from? Has it reached that sell point yet? It has not. So let me move on to something else to identify where I think is going to enter from again, or from, something different. And then as you're patient, the markets will develop, move, and then reach your analysis or your entry points. That's when you're going to start making decisions. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. You know what I mean? So I don't want to waste you guys' time speaking on gibberish and nothing if there's nothing to really speak on. Just being real. You know what I mean? I don't want to waste anybody's time because people are on calls for like 3-4 hours, literally just like, and it's cool. You can chop it up with your community, especially if you got hundreds of people. I get that. I definitely don't, not yet, at least on these calls. But in the sense of value, you don't need to be on that long. You know what I mean? So again, I just want to make sure I'm speaking on relevance. I want to make sure that I'm helping you guys. If you guys have questions, any markets you want me to mark up, and really help give back to the forex community, because it's getting kind of crazy out there in this forex world, in the sense of everything that's coming out, all these new companies, all these It's a lot. It's a lot. So I just want to be kind of like the light at the end of the tunnel for you guys. So again, if you got anything, feel free to let me know. If not, we'll conclude for today. Obviously, I will be posting any and all analysis in our Discord. It seems like these yen pairs might be falling. So we'll change our bias on, oh, look at that. This is exactly why you don't immediately place trades. So it does seem as if yen pairs are going to be selling. So I'll change. That's actually beautiful. We don't even have to change anything. Literally same analysis. We have the break below that structure point. We can now see what the market's going to be doing here. Obviously, there could have been probably more work to be done to see the sells there, but I'm not going to go against the initial market direction, right? I don't like going against the trend. I like to identify to continue with the market. Now that we have a break below there, we can actually just do a few things. We have a break below that point. It can come back, retest either one of these points, but now our buy zone is going to be roughly around this range, because that was the actual break of structure. As you see, this was the previous resistance. Now this would be the more, I would say, the hell of a lot better trade setup in the sense for buys. So buy kill zone. And that's exactly why I did not immediately start buying that, because personally, I don't like buying from high points. I mean, even when we look left, there is structure here, but I think overall, this market's going to continue to buy. This market has been bullish this entire time. Just because we're at this point does not mean that it cannot be broken. It's already, in a sense, with these candlesticks, already had broken above the actual candle highs, just not the wicks as of yet. So that's still very much a bullish idea. So GJ just got new analysis, new bias, still the same idea, still buy, but not at that actual point. So I want to actually see how the market reacts around here. Again, this is exactly why I always say, let your market develop. Let it show you what it wants to do. If it wanted to respect that point like it previously was, we would have had maybe a bullish engulfing candle to the upside. Maybe a break of this not confirmed yet or valid trend line to the upside. Or maybe, again, breaks above previous highs. You know what I mean? So that's really good that we did not place any trades on that. But I'm actually going to go ahead and still look for buys, but just roughly around this area currently right here. And same thing, just what's the stop loss going to be? GJ's a wild one. So this one's actually about to be 65 pips as a stop loss. But check this out. Now our risk reward, same take profit that we're looking at when we're looking for buys here. But now it's 170 pips when that take profit is about 60 pips. So we have a lot more risk reward working in our favor. So now this is what my trade setup is going to look like now that the market has shown us some volatility and really given us an idea, or a clue rather, of what it potentially wants to do next. So I will be looking at this as our buy kill zone. So let me see what you guys got for me. Bro, you are a demo trader. Cool. That's fine. Yeah, I'm testing our EA on a demo. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and test something that I'm working on as on a live account. That's kind of false. You can't really do that. I mean, you can, but you will lose a lot of money. So yeah, I mean, I'm demoing an EA that I've created with my own time. That's fine. What's wrong with that? You got to practice. You got to back test. You got to make sure that any and all ideas that you do is going to be correct, right? I demoed for a year almost when I first learned how to trade. And that was about 7 years ago. How old is my son? 6, about 7 years ago. So yeah, what's wrong with that? I always advise people to start demo trading when you first start learning how to trade. I mean, the first thing you want to do is make sure that everything that you're looking at is in fact accurate. You want to make sure that what you're trying to identify is obviously going to stay consistent and work for you. So yeah, that's cool. That's absolutely fine. What questions you got though? How can I help you get off a demo though? That's the real question. What questions do you guys have? What markets you guys want to take a look at? Real simple. Let me see. Let me actually go back to gold. I want to see if this is actually, okay, we do have a break above that point. So the break above that point, obviously there's going to be no sells, which should indicate that now the majority, and I hope this is the correct answer because the way that the market has been moving, that means that the US dollar, or the news that came out, CPI, is in fact negative for the dollar itself. And we should be looking to go against the dollar. So buys on Euro USD, buys on GU, things in that nature. Like USD CHF, as we saw, had I think the biggest reaction for sells, which also indicates that, yeah, the dollar is no longer available. And we should be looking for more along the lines of potential sells. I'll actually just draw this out really quick. Getting a strong idea of where the market may come back into for potential entries. So again, just identifying or adapting with the market movement. I want to make sure that what I'm doing is going to stay relevant and active to how the market is moving. So I'm just going to identify a few things. Now, I'm not going to draw a trend line just yet because we're not really getting an actual correction. Right now, we just have the opening of a new candle. This candle can still, in fact, push down lower and before it starts to fully correct. So no fib on this as of yet, but this will be considered our new sell zone. And this will just be basically a break and retest of a previous level of structure that indicates a potential idea for buys or sells rather. I'm over here looking at my buy zone over there. So let me actually see sell kill zone, and I'll put add fib when correction. I don't have my contacts in. Correction, add fib when correction starts. Because you don't want to add a fib right now, because what's going to end up happening is, let's say you do this. Let's say you go from these highs here and you actually come back down here. What's going to end up happening is, let's say this candle decides that it wants to push down lower. Then you're just going to have to adjust your fib anyway. So at this point, it's just more along the lines of a patient game. I mean, if you start to see the correction creeping up from this candle, then yes, absolutely, you use your fib from there. But as of right now, I don't see any potential setups for this, or a fib setup rather. So I'd be a little bit more patient with this, but we are getting a lot of markets developing into a more favorable idea, right? Because a lot of these markets kind of just been stuck. But what was this? AUDCHF. Oh, okay. I did not place this trade, but I will be looking at some potential ideas on this as it develops more. Again, I do see potential buys. We are at this support range, but we are also very much in a bullish market. Even though it does seem as if it's losing value, I don't want to just go against a strong buy that's been a buy for a while and immediately start thinking that it's going to sell today. But I do think that there might even be a setup on this. So let me see. Looks bullish. Let me see. Exactly. Gold candle closed in 20 seconds. Oh, that already closed. Looks bullish for which one? I'm sorry, there's like a huge delay between like my stream and you guys, so I apologize on that. That's why your name is Pokemon Person. My man Ro. And you make it easy. I don't make it easy. Trading is not easy. I don't care what, I mean, I know I say that a lot. I say it's easy because I have an idea of how to trade, right? I have a discipline. I have my own set technical analysis strategy, but is it easy? By no means. But I just try to make it more simple in the sense of letting you guys know that you don't need these crazy indicators. I know I mean, I have a strategy that has literally the most indicators on it, but you don't need that, right? You don't need this insane, intellect to start trading, and you have to have all these crazy funky tools. What you only need is just common sense and really just price action or just previous price history. Obviously, candlesticks playing a huge factor as well, but when you're identifying how to trade, the first thing you want to do is not overcomplicate something that's already difficult. I definitely, once I took that approach, it made things a lot easier. So if you try to make things hard, obviously it's going to become difficult. But if you understand this is not some impossible task, it just becomes a lot easier. So I just try to teach in that manner for you guys. Just show me. Yeah, I will. I'll show you. I don't care. That's fine. If he does, I'll apologize. I'll show you. That's cool. I don't give a shit. That's cool. You want to see it? Just hit me up. I'll just message me. I'll send you the history from January to now. That's cool. I lost. I have a losing record for January. I wasn't profitable in January. I mean, what do you want me to be a lie about that? No. I think a lot of people had a lot of struggles trading in January. January was a difficult time to trade. But yeah, I mean, if you want to base it off of that, that's cool. I mean, I don't care. Bro, wow, that was mad random. Yeah, I really don't know. It's cool. I mean, his name is Pikachu. He's probably from like fucking South Africa or like somewhere in West Bubblefuck, India. I don't care. It's cool. Like, my thing is, you're always going to get that. You know what I mean? Look at where I am and look where he's at. I'm the one teaching and has the accounts, the money to actually go ahead and live a financially free life. He's on a website trolling alive where he can actually be getting knowledge and potentially make money. Where's the mindset in that? You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be harsh, but I mean, it's a real standpoint. I've created I don't think I have any 7-figure traders, unless they were already at 7 figures and made 7 figures with it, to be honest. But man, I got 7 years of literally history. You can go back from when I first started, and you can see how terrible I was. I was absolutely terrible. Until now, you can see a giant increase. I mean, It's cool with me. I don't give a shit. Just hit me up. I'll send you all the info. Nah, do it live right now for everyone to see. Your followers would love to see your MC4 live history. I would, but that's on that computer. I have 3 computers going on. But yeah, just hit me up. I'll send it to you. I really don't care. Once they see your mad losses, they will show you middle finger run. Yeah, probably. Who doesn't lose in trading? Yeah, I mean, like I just said, we're in April and I lost a lot in January. Of course, you're going to lose in trading. I don't think anybody's perfect. You know what I mean? Q Banks being, in my opinion, Q Banks, Astro FX, there's a few others as well who I believe are the best traders in the world lose. It's hard not to lose. You know what I mean? If we in this market or in this niche, we're striving to try to be perfect, right? And if you're striving to win every single time, you're obviously going to lose. I mean, nobody's undefeated. I don't care what Mayweather says. I don't care what anybody who has any undefeated records. You're going to lose somewhere in life. You're going to lose somewhere, obviously, in your trade. So, I mean, what are you going to do about that? Nothing. You can't. It's inevitable. Trading is somewhat inevitable in the sense of taking losses. So, if you know anybody who is not losing a single trade, who wins every one, beautiful entries, absolutely no drawdown, let me know who they are so that way I can learn from them as well. There's always room for improvement when you're trading. All right. So if you know anybody like that, which I doubt, then yeah, I mean, I'm always going to take losses. That's the one thing I can promise you guys. I will lose a trade when it comes to trading. What can I do about that? It's unfortunate, but that's the game that we play. But yeah, let me see. Doop, doop, doop. Guy says he has separate computers for his MC. I do. I have I have an auto trader, an EA. I have my own chart that I just have my stuff on because I don't want to interfere with the EA. And then I have another one that I just like backtest. I just had that computer forever and I just have another account on that too. It's called my Get Rich or Die Trying account, where I'll try to take, let's say, $50, $100 that's left over from whatever withdrawal that I take. I usually take all of it, and then whatever's left over, I'll just start to kind of like flip it. I hate using that word, but compound it, if you will, to just grow larger amounts. I have that on that computer as well. So, I mean, yeah, that's cool. You want to come over? Come over. I'll show you. That's fine with me. Yeah, everyone loses. You know what I mean? What's going to happen if you lose? You learn. As long as you fail and fail forward, what's going to happen? Consistency, profits, success. I mean, didn't take me overnight to actually become successful with trading. It took me years, but it happened. And that's what happens when you stay consistent. That's all it is. But yeah, doesn't seem like anybody got questions. So what we'll do is I'll conclude for today. For the individual who wants to see the history, by all means, hit me up. That's absolutely fine. I really don't care. I'll show you. If you're going to see losses, what am I going to do about that? You want to say I don't lose? It happens. So yeah, no questions I don't see. So let me actually go ahead and see if there's any trade setup. So USD CAD, that's actually looking very good so far. We have a close above, and we're already starting to see some respect there. So we might actually have a potential buy setting up here with USD CAD. And I'll go ahead and take a look at gold real quick as well. So we do have a break above that. So we're going to go ahead and change our bias and our analysis with this. There's a few things that we could do with this. We can obviously look at a few points being here and here. But obviously, I just want to allow the markets to develop a little bit more to really show us what it wants to do. And I will make sure that I post these charts in the actual Discord for you guys as well. Demo accounts don't buy GTRs. Yeah, I mean, ooh, NZD CAD setting up as well. Speaking of which, anybody got hookups in New York City for some McLarens? I'm looking at the 720. It's way too expensive. I don't care how much money I make. I like my GTR, but it's like, I don't know. It feels very fat. So if anybody knows about cars or has hookups in New York City with McLarens and stuff, hit me up, because my car feels very fat. And I also need to get a front lift for it, because McLaren, I think the McLarens actually come installed with a front lip already, or like a front lift, because New York potholes are insane out here. I've already destroyed my front bumper on the GTR. Let me see what else you guys got. I'm tired of learning. I'm sorry. What's up, Jay? Is the EA available? Just hit me up. I'm just giving you guys value. If you have any questions like that, just hit me up. I got you. Why are you here, bro? If all you're going to do is talk crazy. Yeah, let him talk crazy. I don't give a shit. Yes, I did, in fact, go and check out gold. What you think about Bitcoin? Like I said earlier, I actually said this in the beginning as well. Bitcoin is in my still strong sells. Right? We are at this trend line, though, for the analysis. I mean, I haven't really changed too much on this, or anything for that matter. We are at that trend line, the respect of it. But if I see a break of that, I'm going to start looking for potential targets being down here. As far as not targets, but in the sense of an investment range. Because I personally don't day trade cryptos, I only invest. So in my opinion, I just want to identify where the best investment ranges are. So I do think that a strong investment range there would be great. Or obviously if that's broken, the investment range down there would be great as well. But yeah, I do think the majority of cryptocurrencies will end up continuing to be bearish, to be completely honest. He is stuttering, trying to explain. Yeah, dude, this shit's coming off the top of my head. It's not a script. It's not like I'm just going off of like, you know, a live fucking, what is it? What are those calls that MLMers do? Like that you have an actual script, and I'm not doing that. It's coming off the top of my head. But yeah, for the EA, don't even worry about that. Just hit me up directly. I don't want to talk about any type of things like that on this. This is just for you guys, knowledge, value. Giving time back to you guys obviously is very important. Trying to just at least build a community based off of profits, based off of consistency, and obviously knowledge and value that you get on these calls. So yeah, if you guys don't have anything for me today, I'll continue looking at the charts, obviously going and posting these in the Discord. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. I'm always available. If anybody's in New York City, I'm actually going to be in the city later on today. So if you want to meet up, by all means, let me know. I'm always available. We can actually chop it up. I'll bring my laptop. We can actually mark up some charts and go over some things as well. If there's parking, because I hate taking the train. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you guys. So what we'll do is we'll conclude for today. Catch back on what entry you're looking at. Oh, the entry. So the original entry we didn't take. So we're going to be looking at something a little bit different. So we're going to be looking at this area here. And again, this is all going to be posted in the Discord here for you guys. So that way you guys can take a look at it. But this will be most likely the trade setup that I'll be looking at now that we have confirmation that this level of structure here is broken, just a minor level at that. And the real level of structure being this previous resistance is now going to be our newfound support. So me being able to see something like that, that's probably going to be our best entry point as well. So hopefully that makes sense. But yeah, let me see. Come to Chicago. Yo, you know what's funny? I might actually be going to Chicago within May, if I'm correct, like next month. So let me know. By all means, hit me up. I'm definitely going to be traveling here in a little bit. I was supposed to be in Florida. I don't know what happened, but all the flights got delayed. I had to come back. So my next trip is actually going to be Chicago and then Florida, and then I'm going to go be staying in my spots in Utah, because New York is fun, but I love my place in Utah. The mountains are crazy. If anybody's in Utah, it's a beautiful place, nice and quiet, being in the mountains, real cool. So if anybody's in Utah, I'll see you while I'm out there as well. So yeah, with that being said, we'll conclude for today. I appreciate every last one of you guys being on, even some of the people who are being a little negative. I love you too. That's absolutely fine, because what's cool is it's really easy to prove you guys wrong too. So appreciate you guys. See you guys first thing tomorrow morning. For any legacy students, we'll be in the Discord together as well. I'll be working on some things with you guys, answering any and all questions that you guys have. And if anything, if you guys want, we could do a night session. I want to start bringing back the binary calls as well, kind of practice with our legacy line strategy, and also with practicing our binary tactics and skill and strategy. I'll be actually teaching you guys how to accurately trade the legacy line strategy as well, so that way you can use it in your own everyday trading. So with that being said, appreciate every last one of you guys. Hopefully everybody has an amazing day. God bless. Salam alaikum. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys. What the fuck is that? Oh, am I? I'm over here.